Gagamitin daw ni Bill Gates ang vaccines para pababain ang population sa buong mundo. Tingnan natin. Yo! February 7, I posted an update for Nipah virus. Pero mayroong nag-comment ng ganito. And medyo na-intriga tayo kasi kalat na kalat ngayon sa Facebook, sa social media, ang Epstein file. And as a content creator, hindi pwedeng mag-assume or maniwala agad tayo. We need to dig deep and mag-investigate tayo. Kaya eto ang nakita natin. So, it is an email to Epstein. Not from Bill Gates to Epstein or from Epstein to Bill Gates. Hindi po. So, meaning, both Epstein and Bill Gates, this is not their communication. So, I've been thinking a lot about the question that you asked Bill Gates. So, Epstein is asking Bill Gates how to get rid of poor people as a whole. And I have an answer. So, who is this guy sending this email to Epstein? Let's see kung sino ito.
What the hell is this? Hollywood producer Barry Josephson writes to Epstein, I've been thinking a lot about that question that you asked Bill Gates. How do we get rid of poor people as a whole? And I have an answer/comment regarding that for you. He has an answer to getting rid of poor people as a whole? Epstein replies like it's normal. Anytime, call me. This is 2011, 3 years after his conviction. They're casually chatting about depopulating the poor and tying it to Bill Gates, the guy funding global health. Gates says it was all philanthropy, regrets every second with Epstein. But this line, it's chilling. Is this elite eugenics talk? Population control jokes gone wrong? Or something way darker? Josephson's excited to discuss his answer. What was it? We don't know. The thread cuts off.
Pero ito ang sinabi ni Bill Gates.
You know, it's factually true that I was only at dinners. You know, I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, you know, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior. He knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health. You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end. Every minute I spent with him, I regret, and
Lumalabas ngayon na kaya nakipagkaibigan siya kay Jeffrey Epstein o nakipag-dinner siya para makalikom ng pondo for global health, not for any other reason. Sabi niya hindi pa siya pumunta doon sa island kasi doon nagaganap ang mga kababalaghan. Balik tayo ngayon doon sa point na itong dalawa, si Jeffrey Epstein at si Bill Gates, nagkunsabahan para to get rid of the poor people as a whole. Ito.
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Wait, what? Lowering down of population by 10 to 15%. By how? New vaccines, reproductive health services, and healthcare. So, he's trying to eradicate poor people by vaccines? Let's listen more.
You even say that extreme poverty can be solved, you say, by 2035, which is an amazing number to think about. If we use ingenuity, what kind of ingenuity are you thinking about talking about?
Well, we have to take science and help the poorest. For example, to get rid of a disease like malaria, we'll take new medicines, new vaccines, to get their farming productivity, which is a third of U.S. farming productivity, up close to that level so they can feed themselves, send their kids to school. They need new and better seeds. A lot of that ingenuity comes from the richer countries, governments, philanthropists, but we can see that this is possible. And the kind of negative mindset people have that poor countries are stuck, that's going to hold us back. That's why that myth is a disaster.
So, he's talking about eradicating poverty, not poor people. And he's trying to use new vaccines, proper healthcare, so that overpopulation will be eradicated. Medyo malabo ata. Parang hindi logical na magpuproduce ka ng vaccine kasi kung maraming vaccine, maganda yung healthcare, matagal mamamatay yung mga tao. So, malabo ata yung iniisip niya. Dapat, hindi maganda yung vaccine, hindi maganda yung healthcare, para hindi dadami ang tao. That's the logic. Pero, iba yung iniisip niya, kabaliktaran ata. tingnan natin kung ano ba talaga ang paliwanag niya dito.
In this year's annual letter, Melinda and I take the toughest questions we get asked and give our answers. One that's come up for a long time is, as we make the world healthier, is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? Here we can see a chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem? What we found out is that as health improves, families choose to have less children. And this effect is very, very dramatic. We find that in every country of the world, this is repeated. The population growth goes down as we improve health. So we've taken that chart that shows the global population growth, and we've actually extended it out all the way to 2100. And we can see that instead of continuing, it actually flattens out. Another way to see that is through this rate of population growth. And you can see that in the 60s, that reached a pretty high number, over 2% per year, and it's now come way, way down. Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down, and so we can feel great about saving those lives.
For me, agree ako doon sa sinasabi niya. To lower down population and to lower down poverty is to provide proper healthcare. Kasi tingnan natin, i-relate natin sa sarili nating bansa sa Pilipinas. Kung saan pa yung sa bukid at kung sino pa yung medyo hindi nakapag-aral, sila pa yung mas maraming anak. Have you noticed that? And the more you learn, the more you have knowledge and the more you have access to healthcare, sila pa yung nagko-control ng population. Sila pa yung nagsasabing tama na yan, mahirap na. And I agree to that. Pero yung depopulation na sinasabi nila, yung mga world order na 2030, I don't think it's fair para sa kanya. Na misinterpret lang ata natin.